Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video what I'm going to be doing is letting a colour wheel pick my March TBR. So I've been having a bit of a think on what video ideas to do, and I knew March was fast approaching, but I didn't know how to pick my TBR. And I realised that I have a lot of books in a lot of different colours. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to get a colour wheel up on my computer and see what colour it lands on, and then pick a book with a cover that is the colour that comes up on the colour wheel. So that's basically the idea of it. I'm going to see how it works. Some colours I only have one book in that colour anyway. Some I have two to pick from. So it just depends on what colour it lands on. But we will see. So anyway, let's get into the video. So as you can see, I've got my colour wheel here. I've just got a random website on the internet. I think what happens is I click this and then it picks a colour for me. And then I'm going to pick a book with that colour on the cover, if all goes to plan. So the first colour is grey. So as you can see, it's landed on grey. So I'm going across to my pile of books now. I only have one grey book, and that is Babel by R.F. Huang. So this will be book one on my March TBR. This has been on my TBR for a long time, so it is about time I got round to it, to be honest. It says on the back, Oxford, 1836, the city of dreaming spires. It is the centre of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its heart is Babel, Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise, until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? I have heard amazing things about this one online. Like I say, it's been on my TBR for a while, but I've just not got round to it yet. I am quite a mood reader and just not felt like reading it, to be honest, so far. But loads of people love this book, so I'm hoping I really like it. It is quite a chunky book, so it will give me something to sink my teeth into while the weather's still a bit colder. And I'm led to believe it's dystopian. So it'll be an interesting one to read, to be honest, because I've not read many dystopian books before. So I'm curious to see what I think about this one, but I am really looking forward to it. So this is book one on my March TBR list. Just make myself a pile down there. So I'm just going to get my wheel back up for book two. Just going to click there. And it's landed on blue. So now I've got to pick a blue book. I have got options for blue, to be honest. I've got two different options. I've got Hello Stranger by Catherine Centre and The Glass Girl by Kathleen Glasgow. I've never read any of these authors before, so whichever book I choose, it will be a new author for me. Both of them are quite well loved, I believe, but this one's a romance and this one's quite heavy emotionally, so I'm not entirely sure which one to pick. I don't know which one I'll be in the mood for, to be honest. I might pick the romance just because I don't know if I want an emotionally heavy book after reading Babel. So I'm going to go with the Catherine Centre one and call that one my book two, I think. So I'm going to pick this one just because I imagine it being a bit more light-hearted, and like I say, Babel's quite a chunky book, so this one will be a nice little palette cleanser almost in between, I think. And this one says on the back, struggling artist Sadie Montgomery never saw what was coming, literally. 1 minute she's celebrating placing as a finalist in a prestigious portrait painting competition. The next, she's lying in a hospital bed diagnosed with a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. She can still see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. As she struggles to hang on to her artistic dream, work through major family issues, and take care of her beloved dog Peanut, she falls in love. Not with one man, but two. The timing couldn't be worse. Making judgment calls on anything right now is a nightmare. If only her life were a little more in focus, Sadie might be able to have it all. So that sounds like a really interesting concept, to be honest. She can't see the men she falls in love with, and she falls in love with 2 of them. So I think this will be quite a good one to read. It sounds like something that's really going to get interesting, if that makes sense. Like I say, I've never read a Catherine Centre book before, but I know she is well loved. She did write The Bodyguard, and that one is really well loved all over the internet. A lot of people rave about that one. So I'm quite curious to see what her writing is like, to be honest. But yeah, I like the sound of that one. That one's going to be a good read, I think. So this one's book 2. So I'm just going back to the wheel just to see what the next colour is. I'm going to click on that. And it is brown. So the closest thing I have to a brown book that isn't in a series right now is this one. It's sort of a beigey colour, and it is called Beware the Claws That Catch Alice by Christina Henry. And I saw this in W.H. Smith, and it seemed like one of the Twisted Tales books. And I do really like those ones, and I like the idea of a twisted Alice in Wonderland. So I thought this would be a really interesting one to read. It is the first one in a series, so I will be starting a new series with this one. But I think it's going to be a good series, to be honest. And it says on the back, in a warren of crumbling buildings and desperate people called the Old City, there stands a hospital with cinder block walls which echo with the screams of the poor souls inside. In the hospital there is a woman. Her hair, once blonde, hangs in tangles down her back. She doesn't remember why she's in such a terrible place. Just a tea party long ago and long years. And blood. Then, one night, a fire at the hospital gives the woman a chance to escape, tumbling out of the hole that imprisoned her, leaving her free to uncover the truth about what happened to her all those years ago. Only something else has escaped with her, something dark, something powerful. And to find the truth, she will have to track this beast to the very heart of the old city, where the rabbit waits for his Alice. So this sounds really dark and twisty and creepy, and I'm really excited to read it, to be honest. It seems like the sort of thing that I would love, and I think it would be a nice one again while the weather's still a bit colder. I love a thriller. I love a dark, twisty book, so I think this is going to be right up my street. So I'm really excited to read this one, and I'm really curious to see where the series goes, to be honest. I think it's going to be good. So yeah, there's that one. So get my wheel ready for book 4. Just going to click on there. So my lighting's just cut out, but I did spin the wheel and it landed on blue. I do have another blue book, and it's The Glass Girl by Kathleen Glasgow, and I think this one's quite a heavy book, to be honest. Like I said earlier, I think it's quite emotionally heavier. So it says on the back, I am the problem, it's me. I'm the problem no one wants to solve or love. Bella is at breaking point. Everyone in her life needs something from her, and there's only one thing that dulls the pain. Alcohol smooths the sharp edges and makes it all so much easier. When Bella drinks, she doesn't feel heartbroken over her ex or caught in the middle of a parent's divorce. But one night changes everything. When she awakes in a hospital with no memory of what happened, it's time to face reality. And for Bella, this means rehab and the bumpy road to recovery. So like I say, I think this one's quite emotionally heavy. I feel like it's going to be quite sad in places, but I have heard really, really good things about Kathleen Glasgow's writing. And I think most of her books tackle these heavy subjects, to be honest. But I also think she's quite a well-loved author, So I'm curious to give this one a go and see what it's like. So yeah, there's that one, and that's book 4. And book 5, last but not least, just gonna load my computer back up. And book 5, last but not least, it has landed on yellow. Again, I've got 2 books for yellow. Put that there. Grab these. And the 2 books I have are Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren and Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This one has been on my TBR for a very, very long time, so I should probably get to this one. But I'm really curious about Eleanor and Park, to be honest, because I've heard great things about it. So again, I'm not sure which one to go for. I feel like I should go with Christina Lauren because, like I say, I've owned this book for a long, long time and I've not got around to reading it yet, so I feel like this one is the one that I'm going to pick for that reason. So for book 5, I'm picking The Soulmate Equation, and it says on the back, Jess Davis is a numbers genius, but when it comes to love, she's had to accept there is no magic formula. Juggling a career with raising her daughter, it's not surprising that her love life is non existent. When yet another date ends in disaster, she's prepared to give up on love for good. But then she hears about Genetically, a buzzing new matchmaking company that claims to find you the one using a DNA equation. Suddenly, love doesn't seem quite so far out of reach, until her test shows an unheard of 98% compatibility with Genetically's founder, Dr. River Pina. Jess already knows Dr. Pina, and this man is 100% not her soulmate. Yet, as the pair are dragged from one event to the next as the ultimate diamond pairing that could make Genetically a fortune, Jess begins to realise that there might be more to the scientist and to the science behind a soulmate than she thought. So, this one again has a really interesting concept. She's done this DNA test and they found her a soulmate match, and the soulmate match just so happens to be the owner of this company, and she knows him and she doesn't really like him. So I think it's sort of an enemies to lovers situation, which I think will be a really good one to read, to be honest. Like I say, it has been on my TBR for a while, so I need to get to it at some point. So what better time than now? So yeah, we'll make this one book 5. So just a little recap. My 5 books for this month are Babel by R.F. Wang, Hello Stranger by Catherine Centre, Beware the Claws That Catch Alice by Christina Henry, The Glass Girl by Kathleen Glasgow, and The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. So they are the 5 books on my March TBR. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please like, comment and subscribe underneath, and I will see you all again next week.